The government's proposal following Cyclone Hatta to demolish derelict houses caused a public outcry, especially from Niueans living abroad. Many houses around the island have been abandoned by those who have migrated for greener pastures, and with each year buildings have deteriorated. But the argument from landowners and building owners is that the right of the future of these buildings should be left to the families. Discussions were held on and off the island with Niuean communities to explain government's plans. The issue was left on the back burner for a while, resurfacing from time to time, and now government is pursuing alternative avenues. Last year, health and building inspectors were commissioned to conduct an inspection to identify abandoned houses that were deemed unfit for use or occupation. Taking the matter one step further, the Public Health Department will be presenting a list of houses in an application for a demolition order to the courts in May under the Niue Public Health Act 1965, Sections 3 and 48, Subsection 6. A public notice is to be given in regards to over 60 houses on that list and the court order application. No doubt it will rehash questions on the legality of such a move and what implications this may have on landowners and government alike. Improving learning standards, academic success, and improving educational systems for better achievements are some of the focuses of many countries, and Niue wishes the same on its learning sector that will work in similarity within the Pacific region. So as to do so, Social Policy Advisor Felipe Gitoko from the Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat arrived on the island to consult with local stakeholders on a regional action plan and Niue's aspirations for the education sector. Mr. Gitoko said the objectives and goals are the same, and enhancing those goals into a regional action plan will see mutual developments.
We are looking at how the countries are doing. Niue is doing quite well in early childhood education, formal schooling, access to formal schooling, both primary and secondary. It's free. Transportation is provided. So, some of the problems that other countries are facing, Niue doesn't have, because it's quite easy for children to go to school, and it's free. The only area that we are really looking at is technical vocational, which I believe is quite new to Niue's system, and how we could link technical vocational education in school with industry training and also with non-formal education. I think this is a big area to be clarified within the Niue context.
Not all are benefits, says Mr. Gitoko. There are challenges, and those needs to be identified and strategized solutions to overcome even for Niue.
We know there's a lot of capacity building to be undertaken in Niue, and we are discussing with the department on what they can do and what would they need in terms of external support. We know there's a lot of challenge in terms of making sure that teachers are competent. They are teaching according to how they should teach, and the development of tools to measure those things are important and urgent for Niue. So that at the end of the day we know that students are getting the maximum out of the education process. And as I've said, there's a need to coordinate all partners responsible for education, not only in formal education but also in the non-formal education sector and in the communities. There are a lot of activities going on, but they need to be coordinated.
Niue's education sector has seen many beneficial developments, and there are also hopes to achieve one of its Millennium Development Goals. This week, 2 representatives from different parts of Oceania arrived to relook at Niue's forestry sector in hope of drafting a management plan. Graham Wilkinson from Australia is one of the consultants who is also identifying areas of development within the forestry sector that will be included in the management plan, and he said there is potential for Niue. We spoke to him about the plan and some of the challenges faced by communities in the implementation stages of such plans.
The forest management plan is really to get the views of the people who live here as to the best use of the forest so that they can be protected and sustained for the long term. So that really means looking at all of the different uses of the forest and seeing which of those uses are compatible and will protect the values that people here are really interested in. So in particular, there's been a very small industry here processing timber, local timber, and we know now from the work that was done a few years ago that there's more timber that could be used on a sustainable basis. So there are potentially some options here for building a processing sector for Niue that would provide some employment, provide some financial return to the landowners here for their forests, and also make sure that the forests are managed sustainably. So it's not about logging the forest and damaging the forest. It's really about finding ways that if there is going to be the extraction of the high quality timbers, that it's done in a way that will maintain all of the values of the forest.
But many years ago, government has this, all these plans and projects that allowed the logging in some of the private areas with promises that they will return to plant more trees, but it never happened. How can we guarantee, how can the public guarantee that the same thing won't happen?
I think that's a very good question. I think the best way, or probably the best option, is if the logging is carefully designed and it's selective logging, we know that the forests here regenerate naturally very, very well. So we'd be relying more on natural regeneration systems rather than heavy logging systems and then having to replant with other species. There is a place for planting of other species in an agroforestry situation where people are doing their gardens. I think there's potential there for planting high-value species as part of their cropping process. But in the natural forest, I think the aim should be to maintain the natural state of the forest and to assist nature in regenerating the forest. So they're the sorts of things we'd like to talk about, that it's really a natural process that we'd be trying to use. Light selective logging, which is replacing itself by natural regeneration in the forest.
From the data that was collected a few years back, commercially, how much do you think is there in the forest?
Well, we know from that work that there's about 5,500 hectares of very high quality forest. We know that will be growing wood at a rate that would allow as much as 3,000 cubic metres per year to be harvested on a sustainable basis. That is the wood that would be harvested that the forest would naturally be growing every year. Now that's probably 15 times more than the wood that is currently harvested. So there would not be the processing capacity to harvest 3,000 cubic metres per year. But that would be the maximum that could be harvested. And all of that depends upon the attitudes of the landowners, whether they wish to make their forests available for harvesting, and whether or not people will have the confidence to invest in the processing, which is very expensive to set that up.
Ralesi Majimboto from SBC is also confident that each interest on the island should be able to cohesively develop plans of benefit to the island.
It depends on the commitment of the people. Start right from the government, the forestry workers, the landowners and the industry. If they actually meant what they said in trying to put a management plan together in the first place, and implementing it won't be a problem. And I guess it also depends on how people value the forest. So we are basically trying to put in place a management system that will sustain their forestry resources. It's not something for us, but it's for you. As owners of the forestry resources, you should try and treat it as part of you as well. So it all depends on how you value the forest and how committed you are in managing your forest well. And in doing that, for the consultation so far, people are talking about sustainable management of forestry resources. So it basically means you and your future generation. So how committed are you in trying to manage your forest for the benefit of the people who are coming in after you, basically your grandchildren?
It is hoped that the management plan for the island will sustainably enhance forestry potential. Niue Primary School was inundated with excited parents and families who gathered to witness the annual ECE and Niue Primary School Sports Day to round off the first term of the year. Students were upright and early dressed in their team colours as they eagerly awaited the first competition for the day, the marching. Marching to beats provided by the Boys Brigade of Hakupu. Judges had their work cut out for them as they tried to give placings. But it was the Green Team Tufu's day in the sun as marching champions for 2011, also taking out the overall points. Second overall in points was Baeko, third Malo and fourth for Hahave. According to the sports committee, there were no trophies given out yesterday as the school looks for sponsors for new trophies to replace those that have been passed down since the school was established in 1989, which have now reached their use-by date. But many are looking forward to more action next year. Fortunately for students, they can now take a break for 2 weeks holidays before heading back to the classrooms. Term 1 officially ends tomorrow. Free Saturday night, that is one of the advice from the Niue tourism sector as it heads off to host an auction night that will kickstart the second Niue Island Festival of Arts. Senior Tourism Development Manager Hayden Porter is eager to promote the auction that is going to be one of the island's main events for the year.
It costs a lot of money to run an event such as the Arts Festival, so we've been, part of our role has been to get sponsorship and ensure that Niue can actually pay to host the festival. So we've had a great response with sponsorship. We've raised a lot of money already. But we thought we'd have a really fun night for locals and a bit of a thank you and a bit of enjoyment in the form of something a bit different too. We're doing a charity auction night on Saturday night, this Saturday at the Matavai Resort. And what that will involve is, instead of just giving some money to some performers and bits and pieces, you actually get to walk out with something really cool. And we've got things like Che Fu will come and do a private concert at your house or at your workplace, and you can bid for that. You can also have high tea at the High Commission. We've got a builder for the day from Arrow Construction. We've got a Sparky for the day from one of the New Zealand-based Niueans who's coming over. Mark Cross has given us some artwork. Some local craftsmen have put forward some paddles and artworks for auction. You name it, it's up. There's literally thousands and thousands of dollars. Now, the cool thing about auctions is you usually walk away with a complete bargain. So there'll be all sorts of stuff there that you'll get for much less than what you would normally go and pay. Supermarket vouchers, massage vouchers. We've even got a piglet. Someone's donated a piglet, so there'll be a piglet up for auction. And in between the auction, there's what we call a silent auction. So the silent auction, there'll be a table of things like clothes and some wine and bits and pieces. And you just go up to the table and you actually write down what your bid is. And sort of later in the night, we'll release the winners of the silent auction, and they'll get to take those items home and pay for whatever the highest bid was on the piece of paper. So it's quite neat. We have some live entertainment. And Matavai have also put forward their contribution to the festival, as well as not only providing a venue to run this, but $1 per drink serve will go to the running costs of the festival as well. So it's a great cause for Niue, and it's helping the Arts and Culture Festival, which is important. I just can't say enough how important that is to the local community. Keep that alive and keep the spirit and the culture going.
Why is Niue Tourism so behind this cause? Having the festival here.
Well, as I said, we believe it's such an important thing to protect. From a tourism perspective, people come to a destination to experience culture. They come to experience real things, real experiences. So we're getting behind it because we see that as ultra important to protect and celebrate, and also we want to encourage Niueans based in New Zealand to come back to Niue to experience. They're tourists too. Some of these people have not been to Niue before, and I'm sure on tomorrow's flight there'll be a number of people that hop off their flight that are proud to be Niuean and call themselves Niuean who have never been to Niue. So as part of we don't just look at the traditional tourists. These guys are actually part of our marketing campaign as well to encourage to come back. Because guess what? When they come back, they do the experiences. They do want to go and see things. They do buy a ticket on the flight. They do eat at the restaurants. They do take accommodation. And they go back and they tell their friends about what a wonderful place it is. So it's really important we give them a good experience. So we'll do anything to make sure that the arts and culture of Niue stays alive from a tourism perspective.
You talk about costs. How much are you expecting or hoping to raise on Saturday night towards the festival?
Well, that's a good question. Put it this way, we have literally got thousands and thousands of dollars worth of items to auction off. I don't expect them all to go for the full price of what they are. So, we're looking for a good contribution to come from the auction on Saturday. But we've also had some really positive sponsorships come through from other parties as well. On top of that, if for any reason we do end up sort of falling short of our target, we'll be able to find some other ways and means, I'm sure, to make it happen. But the more we can raise, the better it will be. The better concerts and stuff we can put on and really make it come alive.
And just advice for the public in regards to what they need to bring, because obviously you'll have to. Do you take cash or do you take checks or?
Good question. Very good question. So bring your wallet full of cash on the night, obviously, but we will also be accepting cheques for payment because there are some big ticket items on there which we won't expect everyone to carry that cash, and we won't expect everyone to bid for those things as well. But there will be people who will want to bid for those particular items. We won't be accepting credit as such, unfortunately. So do come prepared, and we can work with you on the night. We will have a cashier there as well, who'll be sort of running through the auction items and getting them for you to take home at the end of the night. But it's going to be something really different. From what I understand, it hasn't really been done here before, but they're always a really fun night. And I think you'll see a few characters come out of the woodwork with their auctioning habits.
The Niue Tourism Auction Night is this Saturday at Matawai Resort, starting at 5 p.m. An elderly man from the village of Liku collapsed and died on Saturday during a cricket match. The sad event left so many on the island stunned. Cricket teams around the island have poured in thoughts of sympathy over the unfortunate passing of one of the most remembered cricket players in Niue and New Zealand. Pacific Island Radio 531 PI in Auckland also expressed their sadness to the family on radio and commented that the cricket lover was a well-known figure in the Niue Auckland cricket arena. He is survived by his wife and children. It is also reported that this weekend's planned cricket games will be cancelled in respect. Our thoughts and prayers to the family at this difficult time. Those are our news stories that we have for you this evening. We do hope that you enjoy the weekend ahead.